Let's talk about Swanns Way by Proust. Hello, I'm Busy. Welcome to my channel. I've been on Bookstagram for a little bit now, and I decided I kind of want to go on BookTube and talk about books I'm reading because I'm finding I really miss having my thoughts come out of my mouth during quarantine. So I'd like to talk about Swanns Way today. And I was thinking I kind of want to make it like a series where I just kind of, as a layman, I'm going to discuss my thoughts on Swanns Way, one of the most classics of classics books. So I originally decided to start reading Swanns Way because of Max Medina and Gilmore Girls, because he talked about how anyone who loves the novel or anyone who wants to write, they absolutely need to read this. And I was like, okay, sold. And so before I bought this edition, I did a lot of research on what translation I wanted to do first. So there's two main ones. Moncrief, I believe, is the original translation, which has become a classic within itself. But I decided to go with Lydia Davis translation because it's supposed to be more accurate to the French version. So first off, this book is so interesting to me because it's so stream of consciousness and it feels like you're really thinking it. So it's kind of a totally different experience to what I'm used to in novels. And I feel like I don't know, it's just refreshing to see that kind of thought process and seeing how memories can pop up in the weirdest situations and like how they hit you. I just feel like it's so nice to read it and experience it from a different person's perspective because I am very stream of consciousness, thus my need to discuss the book. But yeah, so I'm going to be talking about part one today because there are I'm going to be talking about part one in Swanns Way today. My first thing, I want to talk about my favorite parts. My first ultimate favorite part is obviously the narrator's grandmother. Like, obviously, because she's so freaking fun. Like, she's out here, like, oh, we eat outside for this one meal, and then if it's raining, the rest of her family, like, refuses to join and eat outside, and she's like, no! We're eating outside, we have this option, and she'll just like chill in the rain. And then she also despises symmetrical gardens, which I just think is the most hilarious thing ever because she like wants it to be more like nature, I guess. And so she'll like go and purposely pull out rose stakes or something. I just think that's like the funniest thing ever. My second favorite part of Swanns Way so far is how Swann's persona is so different to every character pretty much, and the narrator goes really in depth to like how Swann, for their family, he literally just brings them fruit. He'll move the piano for his grandma or great aunt, and he just is like a regular guy just coming and helping them out. But then he's hanging out with princesses and he's hanging out with like royalty of all kinds, and so they start hearing this through the grapevine in Cambrai, which I think I said that right, and they heard through the grapevine that he's been hanging out with these people, and they're like, oh, there's no way he would socialize outside of his class, and they see it as like this whole big thing, and it's just, it cracks me up. Ooh, yeah, so here's like the quote I really, really liked. Our social personality is the creation of the minds of others. Like, I just feel like that perfectly captures how, I feel like you can have almost, you don't even feel like you know yourself fully because you don't know exactly what other people are seeing of you. You only know of your own thoughts and what you hear. And I also just love the idea of like, our personalities are completely built up for other people from their eyes and through what they hear about you. And so that's something I really like, the aspect in this book too. And then, let's see. Oh, okay, just listen to how beautiful this is. I can just barely perceive the neutral glimmer in which the elusive eddying of stirred-up colors is blended. Like, what on earth? What a beautiful way to talk about trying to capture a memory again, and it's just, I feel like this is right up my alley, this book. Another part of this book that I feel like is probably really difficult to kind of get into is that there are so many references to like different things that we probably like wouldn't fully get the reference at this time because it's not like regularly said. So there's like a lot of I'm trying to think. There's like a part where they talk about the viaticum, which I googled it, and it's the Eucharist given near death, which is like, I didn't know that. And then what else has been a really... Oh, there's like a joke in it where they find out Swann has been hanging out with the princess, and the great aunt is like, oh, sure, a princess of the demi-monde. Which I had to Google that because I was like, obviously that's something I don't get, and I guess that means a hooker or a prostitute. So that's funny. There's like a lot of funny stuff, and I feel like that's also part of it that seems to be really difficult, is just having to Google, make sure you're getting the references. Another quote I really enjoyed that was at the beginning of the book is, "The anesthetizing influence of habit having ceased, I would begin to have thoughts and feelings, and they are such sad things." Which, again, it's just like, I feel like a quote that just captures humanity so much and how we're so good at just like distracting ourselves in the everyday and things just popping up. I'm also reading right now The Year of Magical Thinking, which is all about the grief that Joan Didion went through when her husband died. And so it's really funny too, reading these alongside each other, as they're both about memories and how things kind of just pop up and like the way your brain just goes to them. And so like, because grief has a lot of that, where just random things you see will just pop in. You'll be like, oh, like I forgot about this moment with someone from my life that is no longer with me. And so obviously no one's died in Swanns Way so far, but it just really seems really similar, just that pop up. And like, oh yeah, and the famous part is he's eating the Madeleine cookie, which makes him think of the lime blossom tea and the Madeleines that he used to eat with his aunt. Yeah, it was his aunt. Just a lot of relatives. And so it kind of pops up all of these memories. And then also, I've never had lime blossom tea, and that sounds like super amazing. It sounds really good, but I'm also not sure, is it as good as it sounds? If you've had lime blossom tea, let me know how it is, because now I gotta look into it, because that sounds good. But I definitely do think it is such a rich, engrossing book that it is slow. You have to really take your time on it, and I really feel like a lot of us get kind of scared off by that, and we kind of get scared from, I guess it seems kind of pretentious or something, but I really do think it's super enjoyable, and it's just probably more fun to discuss it. But if any of you have read Swanns Way, I'd love to hear what translation you picked, why, what reason, what's your favorite part, and I'm hoping to do another video on the next part too. The anesthetizing... anesthetizing... I can say that.